Paddy Meehan comes from me wanting to write about those amazingly bolshy women who worked in the newspaper industry before it was fashionable or easy. I loved the idea of these women who punched through the glass ceiling and were obnoxious. I mean, I used to work in the bar that they all drank in, and they were absolutely obnoxious, these women. They were fascinating characters. And I love the idea of a character who's from quite a traditional background and then had to go off and be this amazingly, angry woman at work. So this was the offices of, I think, 4 or 5 different newspapers over time. To write a Paddy book, I go to the library and I read a whole year of tabloid newspapers, and then I take them home and I lose them in my office and just write the story anyway. Well, in Slip of the Knife, Paddy is, she's become quite successful, she's become quite famous, she's a bit of a local celebrity, she's quite settled in her personal life. And so she's coming from quite a kind of middle-aged position, and it is the middle book in the series. And her first ever boyfriend has been murdered, and it may or may not be an IRA assassination. And if it is, then the whole of Scotland could end up at war like the North of Ireland. And during that time, there was always the danger of the Troubles spilling over here. So it's a big threat to her, and it's a big threat to the entire country. I think my background did contribute to Paddy Meehan being Paddy Meehan, mostly because I come from a very religious family, but my parents were quite funky 60s people, so I think more my cousins' backgrounds have kind of taken that for Paddy.
And a lot of important things that happen in the books happen here. I think she actually breaks off her engagement in this chapel yard. And for me this is a very important place actually, because I was baptised here, and like a lot of Catholics you can trace most of your family history through things that happen at the chapel.
I think Glasgow and crime novels fit together very well because it is a very rough city, and we are the murder capital of Western Europe. We're known for being full of working class people. At certain times it can be a very threatening city, it's also a very beautiful city, and I think it's a very unknown city to most people. Tartan Noir is the movement of Scottish writers writing crime fiction, and traditionally Tartan Noir is very concerned with social issues, very contemporary, and also just great rhythmic stories, which is really what Scottish storytelling is all about. I'm really glad to say that every character I've stopped writing about I've really missed and I've had dreams about, and I hope that translates into the books actually.